Hi, welcome to Live Right Tonight. I'm your host, Brandi, and here I have Manny with us. Manny, you are from My Fight Our War. How are you?
I am great, and I just want to thank you very much for having me on. I've been looking forward to this.
Thank you for joining me. So, Manny, tell us a little about yourself. Where did you start to even come to where you are today? Give us a little background of where you came from.
Definitely. Well, obviously, with this whole thing with My Fight Our War, we actually January 9th, we just celebrated our first year anniversary, and My Fight Our War is a support group, and I hate using the word group and all that stuff just for me because it's like I don't like it to be like a clinical, like group or clients. And to each their own. I always just refer to us as a family, and that's how I refer to everybody that's dealing with addiction or any type of issues. We're one big family, and
Right.
mine started because of my issues. I had issues that I denied for years with drinking and drugs, and actually, in a couple of days, January 27th, I'm going to be celebrating 4 years of sobriety. And
Yay,
yeah,
congratulations.
thank you so much. And not only that, and one of the first interviews I did, we were talking about that. And I said, it's also a day, and I said bittersweet. And it's actually not bittersweet. It's sweet as can be because it was actually that day 4 years ago. I was at Henry Ford, Maine, in Detroit Hospital. I was in the hospital for 27 days, most of it in ICU. I was taken there by ambulance because I was as yellow as a banana. I was going through organ failure due to my drinking. And let's just say I was as yellow as a banana. I mean, head to toe yellow, and pretty much delirious from the organ failure. Like I said, I was there all that time. The most of it in ICU, about 18 days, coded a few times. The doctors came in on the last day there, and Dr. Death, as I called him and his young female associate, he woke me up one morning all by myself, and he said, Manny, I got to talk to you. He said, he starts giving me numbers and stats. He says, with numbers like yours, 6 out of 10 people don't make it. And I remember laughing. I was like, well, man, I mean, that's the attitude I had. I go, I don't give a shit. I go, yeah, I'm glad I'm not one of those six because you're talking to me. And he goes, you don't get it. He goes, your numbers are worse. And he goes, there's nothing we can do for you. And he said, this whole time that you've been here, you've been in organ failure. Your numbers have been slowly declining. And last night, with your reports in your labs, your organs have shut down. Your pancreas, liver, and kidneys have stopped functioning, and you have less than 6 weeks to live. And I'm sitting there looking at him as I'm looking at you, like, what? I mean, when I woke up that morning, that's not what I expected to hear, and especially when you're having a conversation.
Right.
So he says, I'm sorry, and my associates will be in. We're having hospice take over your care. And he gets up and leaves. I'm in my room by myself, and I was so out of it. The pancreatitis was so painful. They had me on Dilaudid, which was knocking me out along with the organ failure. So I was so delirious. I remember passing out, and I woke up, and his associate was there, the younger female who was a sweetheart. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, "Oh, this shit is real." And I remember looking at her, and she goes, "I know you talked to my associate." And I said, "I was hoping this was a dream." And she said, "No." And I said, "Please, there's got to be something you can do." And she said, "Manny, there's no cure for organ failure." She goes, "Your pancreas, kidneys, and liver have stopped working." She said, and she started to cry. She held my hand. She said, "We're going to, notify your family, the loved ones. Hospice is taking over. You're going to be comfortable." And I just remember no tears, nothing. I just sat there and dealt with it. And the next day they're taking blood. I was like, why are you taking blood from a dead guy? And they're like, well, to take over the labs for hospice. Well, next thing you know, I'm there 2 days, 3 days. Each time they came in, more doctors are coming in. And they're just looking at me like I'm at the zoo and I'm one of the displays. They're all kind of like staring at me with their notes and they're talking. And I'm like, am I dead already? Is this like the pearly gates? And they're like, wait a minute, this is
Getting
Manny.
your chart in.
Yeah, they're like, this is Manny. Go also Gunner. Oh hell no, he ain't coming in here. So this kept going on, and they wouldn't tell me why they're first of all keep me there taking blood every day.
Right.
The last day, my room is full of doctors, all doing the looking, like, is he real?
You're poking
And
you.
and
Like,
but
you
yeah,
awake?
it's like do it like the staring contest. Oh, he blinked. And so Dr. Death, as I called him, walks in with his associate at the end of the bed, and they're just like, I'm like, what the hell's going on? And he starts smiling and laughing. Well, I wasn't really in the mood to be laughed at that point by a man who says you're going to be dead in 6 weeks.
Right.
So I had a few words that I won't use on your show, but I politely said, what the F are you laughing at, you prick? I mean, you're laughing at me. And his associate started to cry again. She sat down, held my hand. She said, Manny, we're sending you home not to die, but to live. She goes, there's no cure for organ failure. She goes, you shut down. And she said, the reason all these guys are here is because not only did your numbers in your labs stabilize, they're going back to within normal limits. I stayed there about 7 more days. They kept doing the blood work. Like, I think the labs broke. Shake that blood a little more. I think it's still 90 proof. And sure enough, man, they came back and they said, your numbers are improving even by the day. And they're just like, and all these specialists were coming in. They're like, you've been blessed. And so, here I am, January 27th will be 4 years. I'm on medication for high blood pressure. And it was diagnosed with an autoimmune issue. So I'm on medication for that. That's it. I am on no other kidneys, everything functioning normally. I mean,
Wow.
unbelievable, just
That is
unbelievable.
awesome. Now, with your organs and all that failing, was all that from alcohol abuse and drug abuse? It was
All of
just
it.
all of it was just not your organs weren't accepting.
No, for a while there, even as I was as yellow as a banana, I'm sitting there like, well, as addicts and alcoholics, we think we're good at lying. We sit there, we'll lie our ass off. You've been drinking? I ain't been drinking. Yeah, I'm just tired. That's why I'm talking like this. And you're like, they believed it. And the whole time they're like, you thought we believed them. And it's just lie. And the thing is, we're just lying to ourselves. And so I'm like, no, I don't have a problem. And so it's just like, well, after that, when you're, and then, when you're diagnosed with and faced with what I was told, it's, if that doesn't slap the stupid out of you, nothing will. And that's when and then having to admit, you know what? I think drinking a fifth and a half a day might not be good for your organs. And towards the end, it was at least a fifth and a half a day, sometimes
Wow.
two, from what I remember. So it was nothing other than me killing me slowly with drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
But and then in the past I talked a lot of shit. It was just like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Then tomorrow would come along and I'd be like, okay, no one brought it up. Got away with that again. And that's how my life was, just a bunch of bullshit talk. And I don't know what got into me. Well, I shouldn't say that. Big guy upstairs got into me because a year ago on January the 9th, I was sitting at home and all of a sudden I got up and I walked into the kitchen and I sat down with a pen and paper. And I was sitting there and I'm like, I'm gonna I'm going to start a support group. I'm going to do something to finally give back. And I remember talking to my ex now. I remember talking to her, and I said, I'm going to do something. And it was kind of like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, well, I need a name. I mean, what am I going to do? Just, hey, all you drunk drug addicts, follow me, man. Just let's unite. So
Right.
and Brandi, when I say this, I'm not even kidding. Within not even 10 minutes, I'm sitting there just tapping. I'm like, and all of a sudden I wrote, my fight, our war. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, just out of nowhere, my fight, our war. And then I started thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, my fight is like addiction for your personal, like for me, drugs, alcohol. Someone else, it could be like heroin, it could be eating disorder, it could be meth, whatever. That's their fight. Some people eating disorders, that's their fight. Our war, it's all of our war is addiction. So it's my fight, our war. And I'm like, I looked up, I'm like, man, you're good. You're good. So I wrote my fight, our war. I've always loved wolves my whole life. I've got a huge wolf tattooed on my back, just a whole wolf pack mentality. So not only did I write my fight, our war, I kind of sketched a little wolf, which I can't draw for shit. And I go, okay, that's our logo. And on the bottom, I wrote, join our pack, you'll never be alone. And
I
within
like
10
that.
minutes, within 10 minutes, I had all this. And I'm like, oh my God. And I just remember this spark and this fire that I've never felt before in my life. And I'm Italian, been born and raised Catholic, but I usually went to church because, my grandma, you're going to church.
Yeah.
And that was me. But I'm like, I'm gonna do this. There's people out there that need help like me. I have no clue what I'm doing. So I went to Facebook, and as I told you, you know me, man. I mean, just turning on a computer is an adventure. So January 9th, I woke up and I went on Facebook, formed the page, and it was like, wow, that was fairly easy. Next, by the end of the day, I had like 12 followers. I was like, what are they following me for, man? And now between the two pages, there's over 7,000 followers from around the world, from Ireland, New Zealand, the Netherlands. I mean, it's amazing,
That's
just
awesome.
amazing, man. And the stories I remember doing a couple of videos within the first couple of weeks, the personal stories that people were sharing, that they were so personal that I just kept blasting. I'm like, do you realize what we've done here? I go, look at what you are sharing with us. These innermost, darkest feelings that some of us, our closest friends and family, we haven't told them, but we're sharing it with each other because we know that we've got that. When I did the intro, I said, listen, join our pack. I said, you will never be judged. You will never be disrespected. You will be treated with respect and courtesy, support, motivation, and a well-placed kick in the ass when you need it. That's why we're here. And I said, we are a family, and there'll be no bullying. There'll be, that's it. There's no steps. There's no, that structure where some people get a little timid or intimidated by. And I just said, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not a life coach. I don't have any schooling. I'm one of you. I'm a professional alcoholic addict. I'm one of you. I know I know that dark, empty, cold hell that we've all experienced. And it just went like wildfire, man. People started opening up and sharing these stories. It was just beautiful. I mean, it was beautiful and just heart-wrenching at the same time, hearing these stories and people saying, Manny, thank you for this family. She goes, people have said, I've been able to talk about this freely now, and it's been in for so long that this is their outlet. And
Mhm.
and we are social media. We don't have a building, yet, but that we are doing. So it is social media, and I always say we're not inventing the wheel, man. Amazing organizations. After hearing about you and coming in and seeing your place, I talk about you guys everywhere I go. Live
Well, thank
right,
you.
structure, recovery, man. I just go on and on and on and on. I mean, because anybody who is doing something to be part of the solution and not the problem. I will stand side by side and I will help you fight that bitch addiction all the way to the grave. I mean, because addiction is a war. It's ugly, it's mean, it's nasty. And my fight, our war is just what it is. We will go to war with anybody trying to help. I will never downplay or talk bad about anyone or organization trying to help. Um, but some organizations aren't for everybody. Like
Right.
for me personally, I couldn't do the like this 12 step the close the meetings. It was too much for me. But that's not. I mean, I AA, God bless them. NA, Care, Fan, you guys, Sober's Cool, Hard Knocks, Sober Patrol, Push Out Addiction, Push Up Recovery. There's so many that just to be part of that is such an amazing thing. And I've met some just like and yourself. I mean, have just been a blessing. So the
Yeah.
more people fighting this, the better.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I do know some people that, they actually they podcast. They listen to podcasts. They don't like going to meetings. It's not for them, and it's not for everybody. And and I tell people, I was like, find what works for you and stick with it. If it's not meetings, find something else. And, I actually have a couple friends that have 5, 6 years sobriety, and they podcast. They listen to podcasts and they listen to recovery podcasts and stuff like that. And then when they realized that I was doing it, they listen to mine. I'm like, yay, thank you. But
Yeah.
what I love about it is that and I tell people, I was like, I understand that when you are going through the addiction and there's a lot of dark spots and there's dark spots that you even want to forget, but don't, because that's what got you to where you are today. All that dark and just the horror that you went through, and it all brought you to where you are today, clean, moving forward, having a better life than what you were going through, because you got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and it's what brought you there.
Oh, so
And
true.
and for them, they say that they listen to podcasts, they listen to how other addicts got through it, and they bring it into their daily life. And I applaud them. If you don't like the meetings, if you don't like groups, if you don't like, stuff like that, then find what works and run with it. It doesn't matter how you do it, just do it.
Yeah,
If your life
exactly.
is so unmanageable and it's destroying everything around you and yourself, especially, find what works and make it work,
That's
you
it. Yeah.
know?
And that's it too, because you know what? These organizations, like, AANA, Care, Fan, I mean, they've been, like I said, we're not inventing the wheel, man. But unfortunately, these amazing outlets don't get utilized until it's too late.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of it is preventative. If you're going down that damn road and all of a sudden you crash, okay, well, you crash. You go down that road, you see signs. Listen, if this could be an issue in your life personally, or a family member or a friend, reach out. The hardest part is putting your ego aside
Oh,
and as far as I've come across, so I've learned so much in the past year, um, dealing with family and friends, as a lot of it is shame for the addicts that they to for me, to say the word alcoholic or addict or something like that, that was me. That was other people who had drinking problems. I only drink a fifth a day. That's not a problem. I know guys who drink more than me. So just owning it. When I started to own my issues, is when I started to see the light. And the one other thing is meeting family and friends. Like I said, it's almost like they'll talk about it and then they get into the like it's taboo. It's like then they start doing the whispering where it's like, oh well, our son or daughter or my husband or wife is an alcoholic, but we don't talk about that outside the family. Well, by not talking about it, I told her, I said, by not talking about it, the next time, by not talking about it, you just put a drink in your loved one's hand. By not talking about it, you just put a needle in your loved one's arm by not talking about it,
Hmm.
because addiction's not going away and it needs to be talked about.
Needs to be addressed.
And you hear people saying, well, it's your own fault because it's not a disease, it's a choice. And the thing is, it is a disease. And the thing is, and they're right on both sides, because it is a choice. I chose to drink. I chose those decisions in my life. But it is a disease and it needs to be dealt with just like cancer, diabetes, MS, ALS, with that same vigor, that same intensity as the rest of those issues. And that's what I'm trying to do, is just take it out of the darkness where people are embarrassed, and push it up front where it belongs.
Yeah.
Addiction,
Breaking the
here,
stigma, especially.
yeah, I mean, you got people that were talking about supporting wars all across the world. And God bless us. Yes, we do have to do what we can to support other people. There's plenty of people dying from addiction. When COVID hit, this is what happened to me too, because I didn't have any help. 4 years ago, when this happened to me, when I got out of the hospitals, right when COVID blew up, I went to go to these meetings, which I was told, you have to do, and everything was closed. This was February 1st of 2020, where everything was shut down. The world shut down. I was
Right.
told, man, everything's closed. If you have suicidal tendencies or issues, go to ER. So I never went to one meeting, no counselors, no nothing. And I've been so blessed. I never had one craving, not one withdrawal. It's like I never drank. So, I mean, talk about a blessing. And,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah, a
just,
lot of people don't have that ability. They still
yeah,
get the craving, they still get that urge,
yeah. And
you
it could be
know.
just that trigger. It could be
Hmm.
something that just sets them off. So outlets, like you were saying, whatever works for you.
Hmm.
And I had, my little brother, not by blood, but little, Kevin's my brother. He lost the war against addiction and unfortunately passed away from drugs. And I've known him since he was born, and he was a warrior. And now he's in heaven watching over me, and talking. When I talk, I can feel him. And and I remember years ago going over there to talk to him and about my issues,
Right.
and just so I didn't, and his were worse than mine. I didn't care. So I am. We went for a walk, and he goes, Manny, he goes, you're going to beat this. I mean, just as confident as can be. He goes, you're one of the strongest people I know. He goes, the things that have happened to you, he goes, you should have been dead 4 times already that I know of, just from shootings, stabbings, and all the other things that happened in my crazy life. And he goes, you're going to beat this. And here, I mean, he unfortunately didn't make it. And, it just, I remember talking to his mom and dad, and they were talking about how his dad said, one night Kevin was so bad, he was pleading with his dad to take him downtown to get, or wherever, to get some drugs. And his dad was like, are you kidding me? And he started to cry. He goes, Dad, I don't want to be like this. This isn't me. He goes, that's how the power that took over him. He was asking his father to get him drugs, and begging for help. And that's when Rick said, that's when he realized what a terrible disease this is. And the thing is, people say, well, what's the right way to do it, to help somebody? The right way is to never stop trying to help them. Yes, you're going to get shed on. Yes, you're going to be hurt, because I hurt many people. My mom and dad, my dad passed away 5 years ago, but I hurt them so much. And even though it's family and friends, sometimes bridges can't be, mended, and it's not their fault. We put them through hell, and that's on me and us to own. But like Rick said, you do anything and everything. If it doesn't work, try again. If that doesn't work, try something else. If it doesn't, I mean, try. Never stop trying to help.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you know, I tell people this all the time because a lot of them, like a lot of individuals, that are getting clean, they ask, they pretty much, they say, they're like, I just feel bad. I don't even know how to talk to my family about this because I've hurt them so bad and blah blah. And for, I know for myself, living with addicts my whole life, I told them the only way that I will accept your apology, and that I do accept your apology, is when I see you clean. I accept it. I accept your apology. I accept all of it. And I'm on your side. I'm rooting for you because that's all I've ever wanted. All I've ever wanted was to see you clean and you being a part of my life. Like, I know that you're going to be there, when I get married, when I, if I have kids, or even when I get old, I want to be able to call, certain family members and be like, hey, come on over and, swing on the swing with me, or sit on the rocking chair with me at the house,
Yeah.
like whatever.
Yep.
And that's what I tell them. It's like, you don't need to write me a long thing. Just get clean. Just get
Yeah.
clean and stay clean. And guess what? I forgive you. I forgive you, and I'm your biggest supporter ever. Like, I got your back.
Yes.
Like, that's all I want from you. I want to sit there. I want to see you clean, and I want you to succeed, and I want you to become better than who you are today, because I can see the misery in you. I can see the drugs is just wearing and tearing on you, and you're just miserable. You're miserable. Everything that you do, you got an attitude about it. You're negative and negative towards life, and it's like, I know who you are, and I know the kind of person you can be, because I see
Yeah.
it when you do get clean, and it's like I see that light just wanting to come out, and it's like, let it shine, man.
Uh,
And I do tell a lot of people that getting clean is the biggest I'm sorry to anybody that you ever hurt, because them seeing that you are clean and you're thriving and you're doing great, that's all they ever wanted.
oh
And a
yeah.
lot of people will bypass everything you've done.
Oh
Will they
yeah.
forget it? No, but
Oh, we've
they'll
done some.
forgive.
Yeah, and again, I speak for myself, but a lot of the things I say, I know I speak for others, because addiction and alcoholism, even though our stories are our own and they're individuals and they're unique,
Yep.
addiction and alcohol, it's the same hell horror. It's just a different person and a different path that we've been on for that hell. And
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, man. I mean, I remember having some family and my mom, and it's like, well, of course, your family and my mom, you're supposed to be, bitchy and naggy and all this stuff. And then you turn around to the people who are at the bar or with the drugs, who are like, then what do? You go to them, ah, man, I can't believe my freaking ass family and my other friends were giving me shit about drinking. And then, well, they drink. Well, they don't drink every day, all day, but you try to shift the blame. And it's like, well, and then
Compare
you
it
got these
somewhat.
other ones who are your friends at the bar who are like, screw them, man. Here, want to do another
Let's do a
shot?
shot.
Oh, thanks, guys. They're your friends. They ain't your freaking
No,
ass friends, man.
no.
It's the ones who are crying that
That are
are
giving you the
sometimes,
shit.
oh, the ones that are saying you're breaking. I still remember my ma sitting there at the table in tears, saying, and pounding her chest, saying, "You're breaking my heart." Coming from my mother, and here's me, just blah, just like the old Charlie Brown when the teacher, all you hear is wah wah wah. So that's as my own mother's crying. I was just like, let's just get this over with, man. I know the guys are at the bar right now. Come on. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I know I'm a disappointment, whatever. I can never make you happy. It's all my fault. Trying to shift the blame. And here it's like I tell people, the ones that you're most mad at are the ones that love you the most. The
Mhm.
ones that you most despise, that think they're giving you shit, that don't care about you, are the ones who love you more than anything.
Yep.
And but you're right, man. I tell you what, letters, uh, speeches, all that stuff. Yeah, it's nice. It's always good to hear. I'm sorry for what I did, but just words. That's all. That's all I was, man. And then all of a sudden, I went from words to all of a sudden being sober to my fighter, to all this, to taking it to other levels. See, like you said, you nailed it. The expression on people's face when they look at you with pride, and then hearing these accolades. I'm not, used to, usually it's like, that Manny, yeah, or, Gunner, yeah, that prick, that, that, and I was okay with it because I was, man. I mean, I went
Right.
from a Detroit police officer working EMS, doing this stuff, helping people. And I've always had a little bit of a crazy side, and I always loved Harleys and bikes. And, I rode with some, crazy dudes, and I rode with the Detroit Highwaymen. So I went from a lawman to an outlaw, and I did a lot of crazy stuff and hurt a lot of people, man. But it's just, reaching out and then taking these steps. I'm still the same person. That's like I tell people, don't forget, man, addicts weren't always addicts. Addicts were people before they became addicts. And we're going to keep fighting. And, that's why with you guys, I couldn't wait to get down there, and become part of it, man. So again, thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. But we will wrap this up because I know you got a busy day and I got so much going on over here. We got our spring spectacular going. So that will be coming up soon. I will send you the flyer to that, by the way.
Definitely do that. And like I said, I want to be seeing you after the show, dropping off my goodies for everybody and seeing
Yes,
everyone.
yes. I'm excited.
But again,
Let me know when
thank
you
you.
get some hoodies in. I want a hoodie.
Well, actually, I'm glad you said that. For everyone who's watching, please go to Facebook, man. Go to My Fight Our War. Check us out, man. You will love it. And we're here for everybody. And once you go to our page, you'll actually see on the top there's a link to go right to My Fight Our War store. We got hats, hoodies, mugs, t-shirts, tank tops, everything. So
Love it.
once you go to My Fight Our Wars page, click on the online store and fire away, man. So,
I love it.
but
I
thank you,
love it.
Brandy. Thank you for this opportunity to
Yes,
talk to you.
Manny, I want
I
to
love
say
it, man.
thank you. Yes. So anybody that's watching, if you want, go to Facebook, My Fight Our War. Manny, he runs the page. He has a few other people that help him.
I do with my admin Lynn. She does an amazing job, and just all the family members who pop in, Jeremy and Quinn, my IT guys. This is definitely not me and I. This is we and us.
Love it.
That's what we are. So,
I love
but
it.
thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to go join their group, another support team, and there's never enough support. That's the way I
Mhm.
look at it. There's never enough. So, and I do want to say I appreciate you starting the My Fight Our War. That is, that's huge because we need more people out there to help individuals that need it. But again, thank you, Manny, for coming and joining the show. And I'll be seeing you soon.
Yes, you
So
will.
it's not a goodbye, it's I'll see you later.
It's a see in a few.
All right, everybody else, thank you for joining, and I hope you all have a blessed day.
Thank you.